Hi friends, this video has been a long time coming because I have a very big announcement. We are moving. Yes, baby, it has been time. My wife and I got married last September, and we have been itching to find a place of our own together. Now, if you've been around here for a while, you know that I bought this condo over 5 years ago, so about 5.5 years ago now. I live in the DC metro area, Northern Virginia to be exact. And we just wanted a clean slate. We wanted something together. We wanted a standalone house. We wanted more space. And I can't wait to take you all along for the journey. But in the meantime, friends, the condo had to be gentrified. I'm just going to be honest. There were some things that we had to take care of to prepare it to sell, and condos sell pretty slowly. If you were in real estate, or if you own a condo, or if you owned one in the past, then you know this. They tend to sell slower than townhomes or standalone homes. And so we were prepared to be on the market for a while. Thankfully, that did not happen. And so I thought some of what we did to make the house sell ready, outside of having an amazing realtor, ours will be linked down below, might be helpful to you all, on top of just some home decor inspiration. Y'all ask all the time about this robe. Y'all, it is from World Market. It is old. It's no longer available. I linked it for as long as I could. I'm sorry. But the star of my morning OOTD are these pajamas from Negative. Look at this. This super thin, stretchy cotton is what literal dreams are made of, okay? I have two sets. One is a bralette. This one is a tank with shorts, and it just feels like your skin. It really does, which is what I need as someone who's at a big age and suffers, like I know many of you do, with hot flashes and night sweats. What a time to be alive. Okay, what a time to be alive. And what I notice is what I wear to bed at night definitely affects the quality of my sleep, just being 44 years old and suffering from those night sweats, but also having a relationship with a healthcare practitioner who specializes in perimenopause and menopause is clutch, which is why a portion of today's video is in partnership with my friends over at Midi. It's that time. It's that time again. They are a long-time friend of the channel. Thank you for supporting the brands that I love that support this channel. And Midi is that girl, okay? I am at a season right now where I am feeling my best. I'm feeling better at 44 than I did at 34. And that has such a big part to do with the knowledge that I have amassed and the professionals in my life who specialize in this season. I told you all last month that I started taking progesterone just because hormones are so important. And as they begin to deplete during this season of life, we see so many changes. So many, not just the ones that we all know about, again, the hot flashes, the night sweats, the mood swings, etc., the memory fog. But it's important to note that hormones, according to experts, play a role in every single bodily function that we have. Turn to your neighbor and say hormones are important. They really are, okay? So while I cannot take systemic estrogen, like an estrogen pill, I can do topical estrogen and I can take progesterone. And those two things together have me feeling great, like Tony the Tiger, okay? So if you have just questions about managing your perimenopause or menopausal symptoms, if you have questions about menopause in this season of life, if you want to know more about weight gain, weight loss, nutrition, anything related to being a big age, Midi got you covered. They accept most insurances, and you can reach them via app or online. Many thanks to Midi once again for being a longtime supporter. So I'm going to grab my coffee. I'm going to get out of my pajamas, but I'm not going to leave y'all here hanging. I am going to insert a montage of what the room looks like, and then when I come back, I will get more into detail about what we did, talk about the sale, why, where we're moving, just a bunch of details, girl. We're going to have us a good chit chat.
Coffee steam and morning haze, windows cracked to let it blaze. Sunday's got that magic tune, floating like a lazy moon. Time forgets to tick away when your smile decides to stay. Slow burn Sunday, take it slow. Nowhere else we need to go. Let the music find its way through the quiet of our day. Slow burn Sunday, hold me near. In this peace we disappear. Sunlight dancing on your skin pulls me gently deep within. Every moment stretched so wide, wrapped in love we cannot hide.
So I hope you enjoyed that little montage. Of course, we will dig deeper, especially into the parts of the guest bedroom makeover that are new. But first, why are we moving? Number one, as I've already said, I think it's really important for us to start our life together. And I feel like we can do that in a home that we choose. I'm grateful that we started off here in the condo that I already owned. It has been a nice transition for us. But at the end of the day, y'all, we just need more space. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So that's rare for a condo, especially in the area that we're in. Again, grateful for that. But for two grown people who have big lives and family and things, and at times working from home as well, we just needed more space. On top of needing more space, we also needed an additional space to park. So right now we have one assigned parking spot, but I got my wife an old school convertible for her wedding gift. We named her Billy Ado. And so Billy needs a place of her own just to live. And so we needed more parking space, more assigned parking space at that. And in the spirit of a fresh start, we also wanted to get back into DC proper. I have been in the Northern Virginia suburbs for a while now, kind of inching my way further and further out, although where I am now is the furthest I will ever live from the actual city center. I'm a city girl. I like the city. Much of our lives surrounds it. Now, it's been some time since I've lived within the city limits, so we're going to see whether or not it's still what I remember it to be. So we will report back on that. But for now, it just feels like the place where I get my hair cut, where we socialize, where I eat dinner, where I shop. We might as well be in actual DC proper. And for folks who do not know, DC, this area is often called the DMV for DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Maryland and Virginia are two states that border DC. And so you can live on the Maryland side or you can live on the Virginia side and still have pretty easy access to DC. But living in Northern Virginia, there are only 2 real routes into the city. And depending on the time and the traffic, it can be a nightmare. So it'll be nice to be in an area that feels a little bit more walkable, where I can get to where I need to go quicker, where Uber rides are a lot cheaper. It's just going to make, hopefully, for a much easier lifestyle. We're young still. We ain't got no kids. We want to be outside. So let's get into what it meant to prep the condo for sale and the advice that we received, which I'm so happy I listened to. So the realtor was like, listen, condos are slow to sell, especially in this market. I think when we first listed it, rates may have been right at 7% or maybe at 7%, which is a pretty high interest rate. And that's if you have stellar credit. So with that said, we had to prep this mug. We had to pray and plead the blood of Jesus over this mug. We had to call in the armor bearers, the prayer warriors, and the saints, because we was going to get up out of this here place. Okay. And I had everybody touching and agreeing on the sale of this condo. So between the supernatural, that was working in our favor. We also had to physically prep the space for sale. I joke and say gentrified, but I'm not joking, I mean it, because we already know how housing discrimination works, and people need to be able to see themselves in your home as soon as they walk in the door, and things that demonstrate or that they think are signifiers of the homeowner's race can affect your property value. I'm not saying anything that is conjecture. This has all been studied, okay? So with that said, there were things like the African mask that were on this wall. The big Malene Barnett print had to come down. Obviously, pictures of us, most people would do that anyway, had to come down. I most days am in a very neutral palette, but my home is black. My home is very culture forward, right? The books that we have, the records that we listen to, all of those things we had to shift a bit. And I do think that helped with the sale because we accepted an offer within 3 weeks of listing, which may be slow for some folks. But again, for this market, for a condo, was quick. But on the second week mark, we had gotten another offer that we declined. So we accepted our second offer within a 3-week time period from listing. And I think the changes that we did helped. Again, I had a gallery wall out front in the living room, took that completely down, painted the entire house neutrals, which I'll get to in just a moment. And we shifted a lot of the decor. We decluttered a lot. We even had to get a storage unit in order to do that. So let's get to some of the specific changes that we made, and I'll tell you where things are from. So here's what the room looked like originally. And again, we lived in it. Nothing was wrong with it, but I knew we could tighten it up and it can look a little bit better. And I also didn't want to spend a lot of money, so I had to figure out what we should prioritize to do this room refresh. Obviously kept the furniture, but I went to Pinterest and then made my way to Wayfair, made my way to Quince to find some pieces that I felt like could really make a big difference that were going to be affordable. Number one, speaking of Quince, is going to be the bedding. Quince is always good for bedding. They sent this over, and many thanks to them for that. I love this color. I've never had this much blue in a room before, and I feel like it's so soothing. It's so calming. I'm like, do I want to change our primary bedroom? No. This is a good guest bedroom color, okay? And so I have the linen duvet cover with the same duvet from before. And the set comes with the cover as well as the shams. And I also grabbed 2 pillow covers in navy, as well as this blue polka dot pillow. And I don't remember if this was just the cover or the pillow as well. I will link everything down below, of course. But I felt like I had to have a little pop. Talk to you about my home typically being something that's very cultural. I needed some texture. I needed a little pop, and that's what this pillow provided for sure. The bed is this very deep wood, this cherry wood. As you can see, this was my wife's in her previous home, and we wanted to keep that. It's a queen size. It's a perfectly good, solid piece of furniture, and so we'll probably have this for many years to come. And to bring in the blues here, I have this print, which you're going to see another version of opposite the bed from Target from, I don't know, probably about 10 years ago. Again, I believe when you're starting a room refresh, to look around your home and see what can be repositioned. And I think this was something good to tie in the blues. And then over here is this brand new side table or nightstand, that's what it's called, from Wayfair. Looks a lot more simple than what it is, but put that together. It actually is supposed to have a shelf that comes down here, and I was done. I was at capacity. I said, I'm not going to be able to do it. Not today. Okay. So we just have this nice arch here, which I love. I only got one because this is a kind of a tight space, but I may get another one for when we move. Also has 2 outlets as well as a USB-C and USB port. So you can charge your devices and you don't have to worry about like reaching down to the outlet to plug everything up. I have a candle here. This one is by Adeline. It smells so good. The fragrance is called the Bitter End, which is bitter orange, neroli, and lily petals. It is so good. I got that with my friend Chelsea when we were in Columbus, or when I was visiting her in Columbus. This lamp, y'all, came from Wayfair, believe it or not. And it came in a set of 2. I am obsessed. I thought I was going to be able to put both of them in here, but I actually think one was a nice touch. Again, still trying to have those moments where it feels like me, it feels like us, but it's not too overwhelming. A nice little pop of texture. It also came with the shade as well. I may switch this out at some point. I feel like a nice emerald green would be amazing, but this neutral works for sure. I have here some matches from our wedding, as well as a book by my girl Jessica Nabungo that I took from another room. And I put it in here today just because I feel like the blues are really cool. And it is the Catch Me If You Can, One Woman's Journey to Every Country in the World. So it's always good to have these type of like bedside nightstand books, magazines, things for people to read when they come visit. Speaking of which, it's always good to have additional seating, I feel like, as well. This chair is super old. It had a mate that I gave away to my in-laws. I still have her, but I don't know if she's going to make it to our new home because the yellow really doesn't match our aesthetic. But for the purposes of this room refresh, I felt like it was fine. It would be a nice pop of color since everything else is so neutral and muted with the blues. Plus, I wasn't going to buy a new chair if I'm just being honest. And so it's nice to have a place, I think, for your guests to actually sit and read, talk on the phone while they're getting dressed, do all the things without having to sit on the bed. My grandparents also just really like this chair and like having a chair because typically we would have a TV mounted, which I took down, and I'll show you more when we get to that side of the room. But yeah, just a very simple, I think, chair from Overstock that my parents put together during one trip, and I've had it ever since. Over here is a mirror from a local thrift store, something else that got repurposed from another place in the house. I felt like it would go better here on this wall. I love incorporating mirrors in different places throughout my home. I just think it opens up a space, and when you kind of have this ornate vibe, it definitely goes with, I think, our vintage kind of style. We love old things, so a lot of things in my home are from thrift stores or vintage stores. Then we have our ZZ plant. Sis is thriving. I've had her for maybe about a year and a half now, and she actually outgrew her little corner in our primary bedroom, which is why I brought her here. She doesn't require a lot of fussing over her. She gets watered probably once every 2 weeks. The perfect amount of light. She doesn't have to sit in high sunlight, thankfully. And yeah, she's just been easy to maintain and take care of. So a ZZ plant or a snake plant would be perfect, I think, for a guest bedroom. And I'm happy that she's kind of blossoming and thriving. And she's just on a stand that I got from Home Goods. So that's this little corner of the room. Let's flip over to the last wall. And then we have the side table, and I feel like side tables are really good ideas to include in a guest bedroom where you may not need a dresser. Again, typically there's a TV up here, and so just something good where you can put the remote set. You can put things in here if you need to. This was a nightmare to put together. I'm not even gonna hold you. I can recommend it because I love the look and I love the price. However, pay them people to put it together, sister. Unless you or your partner are just the kind of people who enjoy putting things together, who have the patience to do so. But this was not easy. All right. But I love the fluting on the drawers. I love the gold handles, and also there is another like ledge on the bottom where you can put, I don't know, ceramics, different things that you may love on the bottom as well. So I think the color of the wood matches nicely with the other furniture in the room. I have the other Target print up here, have this big vase from, I'm pretty sure, CB2 with some branches in it that I got from the grocery store last week. And then we have 3 large books, back to just having something for guests to be able to read. And I want to show you this one because it's by one of my favorite artists, Nina Chanel Abney. I purchased this because she was advertising it on Instagram, y'all, and it took so long to get here until I forgot that I'd ordered it, but I'm so happy I did because she signed it. So I don't know if we will ever be able to own a Nina Chanel Abney piece, but it is incredibly amazing to have this book and to have it signed by her. And this is the kind of artwork that she is known for. It typically is always very justice driven, and it has a larger political message. Although I've actually seen some of her commercial works on sale at like, I think it's called Artsy or the ArtNet. Oh, we have these Uno cards. I would love this puzzle. And the prices are not egregious. And obviously the Deans are very big fans of Nina's work. So something great for guests to thumb through, as well as art from the Dean collection of Swiss Beats and Alicia Keys. Speaking of them, I picked this up from the Giants exhibit down in Richmond. And they have a bunch of their original pieces that were photographed. Like this Deborah Roberts collage piece. And the last book you all have seen before, because I've talked about it here, is the Fashion File Book of Iconic Bags. This is an Assouline book. And it has every major fashion house with their iconic bags. Ooh, look at this. Turn straight to the page with the Kellys. Then I have this glass paperweight that my wife and I made. One of the first trips she took me on was a trip to Santa Fe. I'd never been before, and so she just said, hey, I'm going to take you for your birthday. So we made this during a glass blowing class, and I just like to sit it right here. Also have, you saw me light my incense earlier. This is the Loewe incense holder. Now, I did not realize when I bought this that I could have bought the incense and not the incense and the holder. I don't need a Loewe incense holder, but she's here now. And I was actually burning an incense from my friend Alex. She has an incense and tea line called Lineage. And one of my favorite fragrances I just got from her, a re-up over the weekend, is Pastries and Petals. And so that's what I was burning this morning, and it smells divine. And before I forget, I want to talk to you as well about the new curtains in this room, because I think window treatments make a big difference. It's going to be hard to get a really good shot because, of course, if you guys are facing the window, that means we're going to be backlit. But let me see if I can show you here. These are 100% velvet from Quince. I got 2 panels. They are sold separately. And these, I think I got the ones that say show light, but I don't know how that's possible. These are almost completely opaque, and I'm not mad at that because it allows people to sleep more comfortably, and they are lined with a white cotton on the inside. They come in quite a few colors. This color is called Slate, so it's more of a gray than a blue. I thought about getting the blue, and I was like, nah, I think that'll be a little bit too literal. I thought the gray would just be a nice neutral, and I'm happy that I did. This room does have floor to ceiling windows, and they just add a nice kind of luxe touch. My wife is so lucky because she has several family heirlooms. One of them is this dresser, which was her grandfather's. She's a little worse for wear. She needs a little bit of TLC. We changed the knobs on her recently, but I think at some point we'll probably want to sand her down and give her another nice coat of paint or like wood finishing. I forgot what that's called. But this is an amazing antique. Her grandfather passed away about 26 years ago. And when he passed away, he was in his late 70s, early 80s. And so I can only imagine how old this actually is. It's a delicate piece of furniture. So we show her a lot of love, but it's just amazing to have something, I think, in your home from someone that you loved and that provides an amazing memory. So we'll always have her, and like I said, we'll treat her very nicely. For now, she's pretty much empty, but we may actually use her for storage once we move. I have some fresh flowers here. Y'all, believe it or not, I did this little arrangement last week, and it goes to show that what I learned during my floral arrangement making class was true, which is that the best hack for keeping your flowers fresh is just to change your water frequently. So I've changed the water 3 times since last week, and these flowers are still looking amazing. And I also cut the stems every time just to kind of allow that fresh water to get through, get all that gunk if any has accumulated in the vase. And this vase is kind of this ombre pink to blue that I got from a local florist called She Loves Me. There's a really funny story about this radio. I got it from a thrift store, a Goodwill, I think, when we were trying to find different props and vintage items to add to the decor for our wedding, since we turned our venue into a speakeasy. And I just knew this was an old school radio. Girl, got this thing home, plugged it in, and realized that it was Bluetooth. Happy that she works. It's by a company called Solid State. Okay. So if you're looking for something that looks old school but actually will connect to your phone, this might be for you. Also plays the radio, obviously, but that Bluetooth connection, once we turned it on and connected our phones, was hilarious. I was like, oh, this is, yeah, could have fooled me. And that is it, my friends. Many thanks to Quince for sending those pieces over. Many thanks to Midi for sponsoring a portion of today's video. I will leave what I can linked down below. Even my jumpsuit that I'm wearing, because she is by Hanifa, a Black-owned brand. If you want to see more of my home, I have done a primary bedroom refresh that I will link down below. Many thanks for watching, and stay tuned to see where we end up. We've narrowed it down to 2 places, and I want to show you both of them. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss anything. Follow me all over the internet, and I will see you good people next time.